Welcome, friends, to the Speedgaming Live 2023 Link to the Past Randomizer Spoiler Open Qualifier number 7. One of us has had a chance to take a look at the spoiler log, one of us hasn't. I'll let you guess, chat, which one of us has, and it's not me. I'm Adirondack Rick, being joined by Gilgamesh. You've had a chance to take a look at this spoiler log.
I have. It's interesting. There's some hard to find items in here. This is gonna be some good low percentage execution, at least through the first half of the game, because there's a lot of safety items that are not on the way.
They're in rather ridiculous locations, if you would.
Not necessarily ridiculous, just locations that you're not going to be checking for the first 75% of the seed.
Alright, about ready to get this thing going. The countdown is down to 10 seconds before the spoiler review period is done. We've already laid out our crystals and pendants, as well as the medallions to get into particular dungeons. We do see that green pendant is, what, Meyer?
Yes. Yeah, both players starting here at Link's house to pick up that bottle. That will be necessary later.
And we see a little bit of a divergence here, as Freddy will wind up heading towards what appears to be the South Shore, whereas Power to Mario is going to be heading right to the Sanctuary, as we did see a key over there. So this here, as you have mentioned, is going to be a test of execution. And I know Freddy did not want to kill that bush crab.
No, yeah, so we know that the bush crabs do have a bomb pickup, so Freddy is coming down here to immediately rush Mini Moldorm Cave to get some stuff from Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to plan on using that good bee in order to help kill it some. Maybe also the usage of that, the remainder of the bombs he picked up, but...
Yeah, and I think this is a good play from Freddy. There's not really a whole lot else we need in South Shore, so just getting this out of the way immediately is a good call. And Mini Moldorm's dropping bombs too, which is pretty nice to get a refill.
And we do see a pickup of a piece of heart. Now, you were mentioning during our pre-race conversation that hearts are at a premium this seed. Yeah,
they're not gonna find too many on the critical path here, so I don't blame Freddy for trying to grab a couple. I didn't check the spoiler log for every piece of heart, so I'm not sure where they all are, but I do not blame him for wanting to grab ones that are nearby when the opportunity arises.
Freddy trying to avoid the bush crab as much as possible there, or the regular crabs, because at this point you're one-hit knockout. Anyways, why did we get that bottle at the very, very beginning?
Oh, that's why. So you could do the things that Freddy's doing right now without the flippers. Oh, boy. Okay. That's fine.
I love playing that game of Ring Around the Whirlpool. It is such a fun game.
The ice physics and water physics in this game are just a blessing.
You and I have much different definitions of the word blessing.
So Freddy picking up a nice...
That's a nice Pyramid Fairy. Or
yeah.
Not Pyramid Fairy, a
Waterfall Fairy. So that is the only sword we're going to see for a little while. Spoilers.
Excuse me? You mean we know what we're getting? Oh, gotta get it away from the... Oh, that's unfortunate.
That is a little unfortunate. Now, so the bottle vendor himself doesn't have anything noteworthy, so Power to Mario doesn't need that money immediately. And he just picks it up anyway, and in the well there.
Yeah, I was just trying to get that bonus 100.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a little bit of money for potions. We do need to get into Pod being a crystal here, so we'll need the money for that. I will say we don't need Zora this seed, so, you know, $300 is going to be plenty for what our purposes are today.
What do you mean we don't need Zora money? How do you know we don't... Oh, that's a glove.
That is a glove, and there's a hookshot in the back of Saha.
I was about to say, how do you know we don't need Zora money?
Well, it's because I opened this text file that has a list of all the locations, and all the items are at those locations. And I searched for King Zora, and it says
King Zora have?
3 bombs.
A deal!
I mean, listen, if you're short on bombs, I suppose. Alright, Freddy coming in here to the front of Escape now.
That is the best deal ever. 3 bombs for 500 rupees? Next, you'll tell me that you can buy, for 100 rupees, a single arrow.
You could. Maybe.
Just not in this seed.
I mean, if you do need single arrows...
Hey, so where are we going for Freddy? I believe we're in Hyrule Castle, right?
Yes, so we are heading to Dark Cross for another required item.
And he's doing this without the lamp, which is something that Power to Mario does have, if Sawyer, our tracker, would like to click that button.
Yeah, the lamp is pretty free in this seed, which is nice. It's just in the Lost Woods. Now, that being said, Freddy might be able to forego that lamp if he doesn't feel like going to the Lost Woods, because it is not necessary.
Oh, okay, well, that's a fun glove location.
Yep. So we have a glove, we have a hook shot, we have a Moon Pearl. I think Freddy's going to want to head to Kakariko and get that mirror next. I'll be interested to see if he decides to grab this. Oh, we're going to the back of Escape. This is interesting. There's nothing required back here. Oh, wait, no, there is. I lied. There is.
And Power to Mario is doing the same. He grabbed the key from the Sanctuary at the very beginning.
I don't know if this is faster.
Well, we're going to get a visual comparison of the two routes right here, as there is a gain of some Mario. Oh,
hey, there's that single arrow you were talking about.
I did not expect us to actually be picking that up here.
Alright, now I expect Freddy to go to Kakariko, and I'll be interested to see if he decides to pick up that lamp along the way. I mean, it does make things a bit faster, even if I don't think it's hard required here. Although the way he is trending southwards, I'm guessing he's just going to ignore it.
Every runner has a different level of comfort. And of course, this is one of the things about Spoiler Log, is that this challenges your comfort level.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, looking at the Crystal Pendant layout, you know, we don't need to do Mire, so you don't have to worry about doing Dark Mire. We're not going to have to do Aga, you don't have to worry about doing that. So those are the hardest dark rooms, and we can completely avoid them. So if you're comfortable doing the rest without Lamp, then yeah, for sure, go ahead and ignore it.
It seems to me like the worst that we will have to do in the dark is going to be the pod basement.
Yep, and I think we'll probably have Fire Rod for that.
You think?
I think we'll see how they route things, but there's nothing required in pod, so you can kind of put that off until you do your other stuff.
But bigger question is where's the big key?
That is a good question. I guess we'll just have to find out.
Power to Mario would like to not have another boulder fall on his head.
Yeah.
Gets through that though.
Gotta be careful. Like I said, we're gonna be on pretty low hearts for a good chunk of the seed, so you don't have a lot of loot. And we're also not gonna.
There's our hammer.
Yeah, we're not gonna get any armor upgrades either. So you know, definitely gonna be a bit precarious throughout a good chunk of this.
That's an unfortunate mirror bonk for Power to Mario.
Alright, so this is where I am curious now to see whether we go into Hera here. Looks like Power to Mario is going to go for it.
Is there a reason why you'd want to go into Hera?
So there is a thing in here. Depending on how you route, I don't know that it's required.
That was unfortunate for Power to Mario, but on one heart, kind of puts yourself in a bad position when you have to deal with those fires coming at you.
I think Power Mario got his map chest and compass chest confused there.
Because Compass Chest is upstairs, isn't it?
It is, and you would need a hook shot to do it if you were going to do it. See, yeah, so Power to Mario does not have that hook shot. Freddy has the hook shot, so I think this makes more sense for Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
Because Freddy can just hair a pot.
So we're going to find out exactly what is in this Compass Chest that you speak of a lot sooner. Compliments Freddy as opposed to Power to Mario. And the things like this, they may seem small, but they can add up over the course of a spoiler.
Oh, absolutely. You do not have a lot of time to goof up in spoiler. Alright, so that is what we were looking for here. Now, again, Pod doesn't have anything required. The other bow is kind of buried, but I can foresee a route where you could potentially skip that bow. It would be a little awkward, and I think maybe require an extra mountain climb, so it's probably best to get this one. But it is costing Power to Mario quite a bit of extra time.
Yeah. And that hook shot was where?
The hookshot is in Saha's hut.
Yeah, so this is a little bit of an unfortunate routing here for Power to Mario. Just the fact that I think he was trying to make it convenient go in that direction towards Eastern and Pod.
Yeah, I think what happened was that Power to Mario did get the map and Compass Chest confused, thought he could just get the bow from that first chest, and then realized, oh, it's actually the other one.
Yep. Map and Compass Chest are something that can get easily confused.
Yeah, so I was told the trick that I use is that in general, the map chest is the first one you would check of the two as you naturally go through a dungeon, except for the dungeons that require myths, and then it's reversed. Freddy did decide to pick up that lamp, looping it in with the portal to Dark World here in Thieves Town. So we're gonna go probably clear our first dungeon.
And Power to Mario's about to go get his Moon Pearl.
Hey, we're about to get a fourth heart.
I bet we're going to be getting a lot more of those over the course of this seed.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Like, if we're at 4 hearts already at 11 minutes into the seed, we must be getting a whole bunch of them.
I would suspect we see... I'm gonna say... maybe... 2 more at most.
Really? I put them that far apart?
Yeah.
And so to just disclose, Freddy is playing the seed using the NES Mix MSU package, as Power to Mario is taking an unfortunate death, and this is where having only 3 hearts and no safeties can really wreck you. I mean,
it's going to be tough.
This is why Inverted is such a really tough mode.
Yeah, this is natural for Inverted. And yeah, like I said, I mean, we're not going to pick up any armor upgrades because those are way too far out of the way to get. So you're going to be on green mail, 5 or 6 hearts fighting Ganon, most likely. Well, I guess it depends on where the GT big key is. Let me see.
Just as a reminder, one of us has had a look at this spoiler log. One of us has not.
Yeah, we're going to be fighting Ganon on probably like 6 hearts.
That's going to be a nice little spicy fight. Maybe a good reason to buy a blue potion.
Yeah. Yeah, having the potions is going to be helpful. Honestly, in situations like this, I think bottled fairies are more useful than the potions. Might be able to pick up the bug net.
And this really is where the routing aspect of Spoiler Open comes into play. Where are the things? Can you route them in without spending a lot of time trying to grab them?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that answer is not easy. The game can sometimes find ways of putting things way off the beaten path.
Yeah. So I do like this routing from Power to Mario here, because Power to Mario is going to pick up his Fire Rod in K45, so we'll be able to do Skullwood Thieves Town in one trip now.
And he's also going to get those mitts off the island.
Yeah.
Still needs to get that hook shot, though.
Yeah, it's kind of an awkward spot for... I mean, so Pyro to Mario could just go clear pod now if he wanted to along this way. Again, there's nothing in there that's going to help or be required, so there's really no incentive to do it immediately, although it's not going to get much faster to get to because we are also not getting our flute this neat.
I see why we're not getting that flute or that Titan's bits right now. Down to a half of a heart kind of becomes a... are you sure you really want to try to push this right now?
Yeah. Alright, Freddy taken down, Blind getting crystal number 1. I expect we'll see Freddy head south to snag that fire rod now.
And Freddy's probably going to end this route over towards what? Would you say that Freddy might be planning on going into Ice Palace for dungeon number 2?
I would say that's probably a good call, yeah, if you're comfortable with it on 4 hearts for mail.
Actually, I take that back. Probably dungeon number 3. Probably do Swamp Palace while we're heading in this direction.
Oh yeah, I guess we do have everything we need to do Swamp. So yeah, this is good for Freddy. Freddy will pick up Fire Rod, do Swamp, pick up those mitts, and then just head straight into Ice.
And other issues that you see popping up here during the course of this run, how does the runner adjust to the situations that they're dealt with? And we're getting to see that live on the screen because Power to Mario probably a little flustered from the issues that he's been having this early seed. Forgot the mechanic here where if you come into the Dark World from Sahasrahla, you have to wait a moment before Kiki is allowed to spawn.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I forget that even when I'm not flustered, I forget that, so I certainly don't blame him.
It's an easy mistake to make.
And yeah, Freddy at 5 hearts now. Picking up all those heart pieces, putting in work, because we don't have much of a choice otherwise.
We don't?
Unfortunately, no.
Maybe we can just make this like retro mode and put in take any's.
Maybe. Oh, so Freddy actually is going to go ahead and skip. I think I understand why he's skipping Swamp now before doing Ice. And that's specifically because there is an item in the Ice Palace map chest which will make Swamp a little bit nicer.
It'll be interesting to see what that item would be. Might it be a possible upgrade?
It could be.
Not that we're going to see a whole bunch of those in the early game.
So the map chest, I believe, is the one in the H room. Luckily, we have some Mario and everything to do, our fancy Ice Palace routing.
I like how you call it fancy.
I suppose it is default now, isn't it? And Power to Mario here, finally going to get his 4th heart. So this is definitely going to be a bit of a precarious cold stair fight for Freddy, but does have that blue potion at least, so, can always just down that and go to town with the fire rod.
These here are 2 of the 6 runners that are in this race.
Yeah, and there is Freddy's second sword, so that does help on the Argus fight quite a bit.
This is the qualifier number 7 of 12 of them that we have in all. I think we are still seeing some of that flustered play here from Power to Mario, as
Yeah.
took a lot of attempts there to try to get that block to hit the switch.
Yeah, and this can be a very frustrating mode. I mean, you don't have, like we mentioned earlier, you don't really have a lot of leeway to make mistakes. You know, even small little things add up very, very quickly. These, you know, spoiler seeds are done in an hour, depending on the layout and everything. So every little mistake you make is kind of amplified.
And you're also playing in a qualifier setup here where the amount of time that you are losing due to deaths and bad mechanics or unfortunate mechanics is time you're losing in the score.
Yep. Alright, nice gold stair fight from Freddy. Gonna pick up crystal number 2. So Freddy just needs Ice Rod and Bombos to be in go mode. Sorry, also a book. He needs a book as well.
Why do we need to... Oh, desert.
We do have to beat desert, and like I said, we are not getting that flute, so we can't do it that way.
Why? Where's the flute?
Well, the flute might be in a tower on Dark Death Mountain.
A tower on Dark Death Mountain. What are we switching this to entrance mode all of a sudden and putting the Tower of Terror there?
Oh, entrance spoiler. Maybe next year.
We would have to give them a lot longer than 15 minutes for the review.
Yeah, Power to Mario being extra careful in this Helma fight. 4-heart green male Helma is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit by the fireballs. You don't want to get hit by Helma Star itself because that is half of your health gone right there. Unfortunate for Power to Mario right there.
Oh, yeah, that was a
hit
bad.
Right there. And the other unfortunate thing...
Oh, I did not realize that these were the 2 red. Okay, this is interesting. This actually makes a lot of sense. I didn't realize that the 2 red crystals were this early. I didn't think we were going to get these items this seed.
Good job there, Power to Mario. Had to use the potion there, used up his arrows, but got through the fight.
Well, now this makes a lot of sense why Freddy decided to rush Ice Palace immediately. And you will see why shortly, because this is a quite a treasure trove in here.
Is it?
Yeah, this is I would be thrilled to get these items.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
So yeah, I was mistaken about the lack of swords. I didn't pay attention to what the red crystals were. But yeah, knowing that they were both accessible that early, this makes a lot of sense.
And this will, of course, make Freddy move around a whole lot faster.
Uh-huh.
And I think while we are waiting here for some new developments, the one thing that we do want to know in regards to this format is the qualifiers are pretty much a seeding protocol. Pretty much everyone who participates in the qualifiers, they are going to be put into the seeding, but obviously if you get a low seeding as a result of your times, well, you're probably facing off against somebody who makes very few mistakes in the course of a race.
Right. Power to Mario gonna head into Swamp here. Yeah, I think this is a case too where maybe I don't know how much experience Power to Mario has playing spoiler, but I know Freddy has a decent bit. So this is perhaps routing experience coming into play here with Freddy, tackling those red crystal dungeons immediately to get those boots and extra sword, whereas Power to Mario has not touched his red crystal dungeons yet. Because I think the longer you put those off, the less incentive you have to ever go get those boots, because, having the boots at 20 minutes makes a lot more of a difference than having the boots at 50 minutes.
Well, yeah, for certain. And anyone who plays a mode where you find out, hey, congratulations, your opponent got the boots like 40 minutes before you did, knows that you are losing a bunch of time over the course of a run.
Let me tell you about my Krosky's match last week.
I can tell you about many of my matches over the course of what is it now, 6 years playing this thing.
Alright, so Freddy gonna snag his pod big key.
I've mentioned in the past before that I don't care for the boots, but that's because I bonk into everything. I don't have the dash lines that some of the top runners, like you see your Ariors and your Ralkins, the runners like them, they know where they can dash. They know when to stop dashing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't miss dash. You don't see them doing short dashes.
So yeah, notable Freddy skipping that heart container in the dark basement there that Power Mario picked up. So that's one less. That was one of the ones that was on the way. So one less for Freddy to get. At this point, I think Freddy is... So there's one heart container on Desert Ledge, which I guess Freddy could snag while doing Desert. But beyond that, this is it for Freddy, as far as hearts go.
And remarking about Power to Mario, he was in last night's spoiler qualifier. Finished 5 minutes behind first place.
That's not bad.
But I think one of the things that we're seeing here is what happens when you get a very unkind spoiler setup, and this is something that we have at this seed.
Yeah, it goes to show that having confidence in your low percentage boss fights and things like that makes a big difference, because, Freddy was comfortable going into Ice Palace with 5 hearts and Fighter Sword. I mean, knowing you would get Master Sword in there, but still, being able to do that and feel comfortable that you can beat Cold Stare without problem gets you your boots a lot earlier. And you're also seeing here another big time save that Freddy's gonna have is Power to Mario doing the menu boss fight here on Argus. I will say I do think it's faster to just do Fighter Sword spins in this situation. Although Freddy got to be careful here against Helma.
Yeah, we've mentioned about the issues with death before.
Oh, buddy! Oh no! And I mean that goes to show this is a very unforgiving mode. You
double attack there.
Yeah.
Really, Freddy had nowhere to go because he was getting attacked by the fireballs on one side, the tail on the other side. And that's a rough death to take, because now you're going to be a little upset about that death.
Yep, it's
and
a long
on top
way back.
Of that, all the time that you lose.
But that's another part of the skill set for this mode, is if you experience a setback like that, you just gotta keep going. You can't let it bother you.
There's our ice rod.
Because I mean, anyone can have mistakes like that in this mode. Even the top runners are prone to having unfortunate deaths like that. So you just have to pick yourself up and keep going as best you can.
The difference between the top runners and the rest of the field is how you handle those moments.
Mm-hmm.
If you let it bother you, you're going to make further mistakes. If you sit there and go, now I've got to amend my route and go this way and go this way and go this way, you're probably going to see yourself make a lot more mistakes than you're fairly comfortable with. So
Power to Mario here, gonna head back and grab another potion. This makes, again, We're not getting that flute, so we don't have easy potion shop access.
The one thing here I will say is at least this has been a kind seed money-wise.
Yeah, resources have been pretty nice. You know, we haven't been wanting for bombs, we haven't been wanting for money. Even arrows have been, you know, as long as you're being careful with them, have been okay.
Because the big thing is that that's 320 rupees that Power to Mario had to swallow on potions so far. If this was a seed where the 300s are in a bad location, Power to Mario is in a bad spot there.
Yeah. Alright, Freddy taking down Helmasaur on his second attempt. A couple slashes there to express his displeasure with how that fight went the first time.
But all you have to do is just move on to your next target.
Yep, and he's fine now. Like, you know, we're back in it. He just needs to get that ice rod from Argus, and then needs to pick up the book, which, well, it's kind of just under the doormat, turns out.
Under the doormat. Are you saying that a certain somebody near Flute 6 has it?
Yeah, my least favorite person in the game.
Why is he your least favorite of the game?
I just hate that check. It's my least favorite check in the game. Everyone's got their check, right? The one that they just like ignore, and that's mine. It's a one lone check in the middle of nowhere, and I hate going to it, so I just don't do it very often.
Some people hate Catfish, some people hate Agina, some people hate Spiral Cave. Gee, I wonder why. But you're right, there are checks that runners can be prone to saying, I do not want to go here.
I think if you have boots, it's a little more reasonable. Like in a casual boot seed, I can see it, but if you have to walk all the way to desert just for that one check, no thanks.
Especially considering the fact that the flute is in that location that you mentioned.
Yeah.
That we're not getting to until we have 7 crystals.
I'll be that, but it's like super buried in there too, so even if you did want it for some reason, you'd have to go all the way to,
But what about the duck at the end? How are you supposed to activate it if you don't have the flute?
You know, actually, it's a good call. You have to walk back out of GT.
Go all the way down those 6 floors. Oh, actually, you got to be already. You're fine.
Power to Mario having a little trouble setting up this icebreaker.
Yeah. Those issues right there is why I usually try to start buffer that turn to the right.
There we go. Hey, still faster than doing Ice Palace the intended way, so...
What is the intended way?
It's a nightmare.
No, nightmares are in Castlevania 2.
Or Link's Awakening.
True. I guess in that case, Castlevania is more a curse.
Yes.
And you can also see the power of having the boots for Freddy just running through this swamp palace a lot faster than Power to Mario was walking through it.
It makes swamp so much nicer to have the boots before going in here.
Let me ask you, were you surprised to see Freddy go for those boots?
Now that I know where the red crystals are...
At the start of this, when we were starting to discuss how this log was going to work out, how this routing was going to work out, were you surprised to see Freddy go for the boots? Or that somebody was going to get those boots, that is?
Initially I was, because I wasn't paying attention to the red crystals. Had I noticed where the red crystals were, I would have been like, oh, okay, you can actually get these without as much trouble as I was expecting. You know, if the red crystals were Hurdle Rock and Desert Palace, then no, you're probably not getting those boosts this seed.
So yeah, big kudos to Freddy for making the route that he did that put the boots and that tempered sword a lot easier to grab than what you were thinking at the start.
Yeah, very smart. And this is why I am not running these qualifiers. Alright, gonna pay a quick visit here to our least favorite old man, and probably hop into desert.
I mean, to be fair, there's 3 old men. 2 of them are really fun to get to sometimes. Especially the 3rd one, considering where that flute is. So there's that key underneath the doormat that you were talking about.
So this is going to be Freddy's opportunity to get that coveted 6th heart if he wants it. This is just going to be on the desert ledge.
At this stage, what is the difference between 5 hearts and 6 hearts?
Yeah, honestly, that's a good point. I mean, you're still in 2-hit KO mode against most things anyway.
The bigger question is, will he be able to get a 7th heart by way of heart pieces? Because then that would make a difference, because then maybe I can see a case where he will go get this.
So he will be able to pick up one more heart container on the GT climb. Before the Ganon fight, but that's pretty much it.
So I could see a world of 7 hearts.
Yeah, I think so. I think this desert one here on the ledge is about as free as you can hope for in this seed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him grab it. Oh, I didn't... Oh, good call from our tracker, Sawyer, in chat. The big key on torch means that those boots were actually required.
Oh, something that I think it took us a while to figure that one out here.
Yeah.
This crew here. Spoilers.
Spoilers. It's a hard mode.
Yes, it is.
And remember, you only have 15 minutes to look over the log and figure all this stuff out.
And you can keep an eye on the log during the course of the run itself.
Yes.
But the entire perusing of it, planning out your route, that's what you have the 15 minutes to do at the very beginning of this race.
And 15 minutes might seem like a reasonable amount of time if you've never done this before. Like, you're like, oh, 15 minutes? That's not so bad. That 15 minutes disappears very quickly.
When you are playing those 15 minutes, it goes by super fast. Like, just pop into somebody who you can actually see the log.
Yeah.
During that 15
I
minutes.
don't want to talk about the log. I have thoughts about the log.
Just pop into somebody like Zelga or Ralkin when they show the log up on the screen, and it's just amazing how they're able to take that log and cram everything that they need to within 15 minutes. Now, sometimes the seed is straightforward, and you're able to get like maybe 3-4 minutes of comfort time at the very beginning or at the very end there, where you can just say, hey, can I route this in? Can I route this in? Sometimes in a harder seed, it's like your time is almost out. It's almost time for you to hit the start button on your controller.
Yep. And then you have to start making decisions like, oh, is it faster to climb the mountain now, or should I try to wait? Or, you know, and then sometimes you get partway doing a route that you had planned in your head and realize, oh, this is not going to work. I need to adjust on the fly.
That is one of the hardest skills out there, is adjusting on the fly.
Yeah. Alright, so Freddy gonna head back into Skullwoods, finish this off. So there's an option for a couple safeties in here. They're sort of out of the way. It's gonna depend on whether he wants them or not. So there is the bug net in Pinball Room, which I think he's gonna forego. There is half magic in the bridge chest in the back.
That one I feel like could be a better option to get.
Yeah.
But the bigger question is, where is the Bombos?
The Bombos is also under the doormat.
Which doormat?
The bunny one. Yeah, Powder Mario taking another unfortunate death there against Blind.
Yeah, this one here stings harder.
Yeah, this is a tough fight to do off script on 4 hearts.
And now you got to do it with Blind already activated at the door.
Alright, looks like Freddy's gonna forego the half magic here, because I would assume you would pick it up before the moth fight if you were gonna get it.
Maybe he still picks it up afterwards.
I don't think so, right? Because then you're just wasting an extra screen transition, and...
I was just thinking maybe you save and quit, go to the mountain.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. You could just save and quit out of there.
What I would do if I was part of Mario this...
Sorry, I was gonna say, that being said, I don't think you actually need half magic this seed, because we are gonna have silvers, we're gonna have...
Are we gonna have silvers, though?
Yes, we are gonna have silvers.
Oh. Another unfortunate death there for part of Mario, and at this point, you need to get this done, because you need to get that key.
Yep, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to keep banging your head against it. Hope you can get that heart, see if you can get the first phase done with sword beams.
But what I was going to say here for part of Mario is that I would try to use that Canis of Mario a little bit more. I know he's trying to dodge those heads, but...
I like the sword beam, but I find the sword beams a little bit easier than Samaria, personally.
Right. I would just use a mixture of the both there to try to get yourself through this.
Yeah.
Like right now, go up to the top, lay down a block. There you go.
There you go. Yeah. Get a couple, get your free hits in while you can.
Right there.
Looks like Freddy did decide to forego that half magic, so it's not super necessary. I mean, the Trinex fight is the last thing where the magic makes a huge difference. So, we just gotta get like one more hit in.
Yeah,
there we go. Okay.
And that's where I would use the Canis Maria, especially in that stage where you're waiting for that head to pop up. So that way, when the head pops up, it instantly gets you that first hit.
Yeah.
Anyways, good job for Part of Mario for persevering through that the third try, getting it done. And for those of you who are wondering if there's going to be a regular link to the past randomizer tournament regarding Speedgaming Live, that one is reserved for the in-person. That's going to be in Herndon, Virginia in November. Details coming soon.
There's our Bombos. So Freddy now officially in go mode. Alright, let's see what TR looks like here.
So the big question is, where is the big key? Where are the small keys? Freddy going for a safety.
Okay.
Piece of heart right there. Piece of heart right there.
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
There.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted the extra heart, so this will actually put Freddy to 8 before the end of things.
Could he get up to 9?
I'm not sure how many heart pieces he has at the moment. I'm gonna say.
He got 2 of them in that cave, and it didn't get his health up, so he's at least halfway, if not 3/4.
I do not think he is picking up another heart piece, so probably not.
Yeah, this is not a bad setup to this Turtle Rock.
No, it's not too bad. You know, you're gonna get your big key fairly early. You can avoid Laser Bridge completely if you want to, which I think Freddy will probably do. There is our 4th sword is on Laser Bridge, but I think Freddy's gonna be plenty comfortable with Tempered.
Just to put this out, he does have to go to Laser Bridge.
Does he?
Yeah. Lava Chest has a key.
Oh, I read that wrong. Yes, you're right. I read that as big chest and not big key chest. You are correct. There's our silvers.
Yes, I looked at the spoiler log just because now we're in a position now that we're in go mode. Now the heart pieces come into question. But yeah, with the big key on Ganon's torch.
Oh, you spoiled it. I was going to let people in chat guess what number.
1. You already, by the way, Sawyer already revealed it in chat that.
No, he said it was on Desert Torch was the one he was talking about.
Oh, well, in that case, 1, everyone. 1. Pick a number between 1 and 1. Guess what? Where you think the big key to Ganon's tower is going to be?
Maybe Freddy will check Hope Room just to mess with people.
Oh gosh, that Ocarina is in a bad location.
Yeah, that's pretty buried in there. Also the shovel too, just chilling in GT as well.
By the way, shoutouts to Sawyer for doing the tracking for us here on this seed. Tracking is an interesting animal in its own way, but when you add in the mechanic about the spoiler log, where everything comes a little more faster, it can be definitely an interesting battle.
Yeah, it's tough to keep up when you're
don't
just...
take the death here.
Yeah, get hit by the spikes if you have to get hit by something. Don't get hit by Moth here.
Now we're on big.
Okay,
there we
got
go. We're in danger, but no longer anymore.
So if Freddy wanted to be really, really safe, there is another heart container and Mimic.
Yeah, he ain't going there.
I know. For those curious, our heart containers, so we had, obviously, the one in Pod Basement that Sawyer got. We had one in Blind's Hut, which nobody did because there was absolutely nothing in Blind's Hut. Desert Ledge, Mimic Cave, Paradox Cave, which no one touched, Floating Island, and then Hyrule Castle Boomerang Chest.
So I see Freddy getting butter. Like, Butter Sword is not going to be a big difference maker at this level.
No, it makes Trinex a little bit faster, and does guarantee a one-on-one on Ganon if you happen to slip up a little bit. But it's basically free here.
Although... Okay, we are going to get it. There it is, right there in the normal key chest. And I will point out that, you know, the spoiler brings a different aspect to this game that you don't get to see in many other modes, which is the reason why we chose to go this direction for the Speedgaming Live online tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're a fan of Spoiler, Spoiler coming back to League this year as well.
The piloted version.
Mm-hmm.
Which could be interesting in its own way.
Yeah, interesting. That's the word we'll use.
Okay. Stress-inducing. Does that work better for you, Gilgamesh?
For me, yes, it does.
I just remember the Bomb Squad going through the past seasons with Synac reading off the spoiler log, and it's just absolutely crazy for like the first 15 minutes of that seed. Then they get to relax while I'm sitting there on 5 hearts trying to climb Aga Tower.
Yeah, and the runner is frantically asking, "Can you get me any more safeties anywhere?" I'm just like, nope, sorry.
Alright, 7 crystals collected. Pick a number between 1 and 1 since I've already spoiled it for you. Tell me where you believe the big key is going to be in Ganon's Tower. Gilgamesh, what do you guess?
I'm gonna go with 1.
Alright, I'm gonna go with 1 as well.
Okay.
Freddy's not getting the safety on the right side, which is the burner, which does absolutely nothing with Ganon as it is.
Yeah, the burner doesn't do anything for you at this point.
There it is, one.
Wow.
Thank you, everyone.
Just remember to pick up our small key here, and then get climbing.
Yeah, that's the one thing you don't want to do is climb the tower to find, yeah, we have an issue. Although there is a key on the climb.
Well, there's the one on... Oh, there is, yes, a mini helmet room, yeah. So actually, you didn't even need to get that. But it's probably faster to snag that than fight with the mini helmets. But yeah, I mean, we're pretty well outfitted here for the climb at this point. Blood of Sword, Silvers. You know, you are still on 7 hearts, but that's fine. Just as long as you're careful, the climb itself is not too dangerous. Yeah, another good point by Sawyer in chat. Shoutouts to Power to Mario for doing this all on 4 hearts.
Yeah. And we've seen him struggle as a result. But in addition to that, he's persevering through this. He's doing a lot more than what I would do in this seed.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would have routed I would have routed in most of the safeties that Freddy did, I think.
By the way, proven that we weren't even going to get into Mire this seed, the Ether turned out to be an Eastern.
Yeah, there's some stuff in Eastern. Mail upgrade, Ether medallion.
Funny, that big key chest, I think, was where my mail upgrade would have been if I ever wanted to get that. My 4-heart GT climb that with Synac is piloting.
The
and
other
that was
mail...
a 4-slow-heart Agate climb.
The other mail upgrade in Zelda's Cell, by the way. So, yeah, we were never touching either of those this seed. Freddy doing a nice job making quick time of this GT climb.
Keeping up with his hearts, not really taking a whole lot of damage. And that's kind of the key thing about the whole gauntlet.
Yep, you gotta play it clean. And Freddy will be able to pick up heart number 8 here in the next room. Again, not that 8 hearts is that different from 7 hearts on the Ganon fight, but... No, it's just not even gonna bother. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, as you just said, 7 versus 8 is not that big of a difference. Just get your magic here and go on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Silver's Butter Sword Ganon fight, it's hard to make too many mistakes on that. Making mistakes on Moldorm 2, on the other hand, still possible.
It feels like the Battletoads falling music there is just salt in the wound to Freddy at that point with that Moldorm fall.
Picking up that $20 just in case.
And we did see Power to Mario pick up that half magic.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That's something I definitely would have thought about. It does make the climb a little bit nicer, because you can spam Fire Rod on the Stalfos and stuff if you want.
I am surprised that Power to Mario is opting not to go get the health, though.
I mean, he didn't get the one on Desert Ledge, so he's clearly just committed to doing this on 4 hearts. Because that Desert Ledge one was by far the easiest one left on the path. Although, I would like to have 5 in Power to Mario, like, specifically for the Ganon fight, because that lets you survive one bat.
I would like to have 5 just because of the Pokies.
Yeah, Pokies, I mean, these are all... He's in one-hit KO mode for, like, every enemy in TR right now. Freddy dropping in on Ganon. Pretty standard fight here. Shouldn't give him too much trouble.
Pretty standard police lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, Freddy's, other than that unfortunate death to Helmasaur, which, I don't know, what does that cost? Like 90 seconds? Roughly?
Yeah, roughly.
Pretty clean overall on Freddy's side.
Final stage of this.
Nice double there. Can we get the glitch? Yes. Oh, just missed.
Oh, that bat scared me, but there you go. Get your GGs in. As Freddy has finished first overall on this restream. We'll let you know where he finished overall in the race in just a moment. And he will finish overall 5th place with a 1:10.35, which will make Power the Mario the final player in this field.
Just remember, those race times are including the spoiler log research time. So yeah, actual race time itself is going to be 15 minutes less than that.
So, taking a look at the results, Relkin was 104.35, Gem was 104.45, a 10-second difference between those two. Matt was 108.36, Shady Force was 109.28. Once again, that is including the 15-minute spoiler log review.
And we are joined by our restream winner, Freddy. GG's.
GG's. I mean, I guess I'll take it for second to last overall, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I thought your routing was pretty good. I think you made some pretty good choices there overall. You had the unfortunate death to Helmasaur, which cost a pretty good chunk of time. But other than that, like, it seemed pretty clean to me. I'd be curious to see how like Rilken and Gem ended up routing to see where the extra time came from.
They're just really fast, honestly.
But yeah, there's that too.
The routing was probably relatively similar. They might have done things like skip lamp, but I don't think that actually wasted much time.
No, I don't think so. I think the way you routed that in was pretty good.
The main differences were obviously the just going slower because I'm out of practice. Dying to Helma, it was 2 minutes. Like, I beat Matt without dying to Helma. Probably because I'm also playing a little bit better at the end because I'm not tilted. The Fall to Moldorm and the Aga 2 just kind of sealed that one. But yeah, that was like a 1 to 2 pixel miss on Helma, something like that.
It was yeah. I mean, it was just an unfortunate pattern there. Like,
happens.
Yeah, especially in modes with very unfriendly health modes like this one, where the heart containers were very sparse.
Yeah, Helma's half the reason I don't play NMG, which means I should probably play NMG more. Helma's my least favorite boss.
On low percentage. I mean, it's tough. You don't get a lot of margin for error on that fight when you're on green mail and 5 hearts.
Yeah, and then taking those, I hit the wrong button and accidentally hammered up one of the turtles on top, so I had to use my blue potion.
Yeah.
Which is even more frustrating because I was doing so good with the blue potion and then used it and still died. So, like, that whole combination of events lost me probably at least 2 to 3 minutes by itself.
Do you ever give any thought to grabbing that half magic, or at this point you're just like, I don't need it. I'm gonna have Butter Sword and Silver, so there's no point.
I thought about it, but it was one of those, like, I was thinking about it a lot earlier in the scene, because I'm like, oh, I could grab this cape, but it's like 24 or something digs of the digging game.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24 digs of the digging game. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm not getting that, then I'm not getting half magic, because the only other thing I would need it for is fire rod, but I got the lamp because it was, like, on the way. So
Yeah,
that was probably when I was first thinking about it, was I was like, oh, well, I don't really need the lamp. I can just grab that half magic in the school woods, a little out of the way, but, you know, I like half magic. But then I'm like, oh, wait, I can just grab lamp on the way to Dark World. Let's just do that. That's easier. And then I'm like, oh, I could grab cape and still grab the half magic. I'm like, nah, that's too many digs. It's not worth it. And then I died, and I was like, no, there's no way I'm going out of the way for him anymore. I'll go for the 7th heart, but that's about it. For safeties. And the button sword, because screw it.
Well, yeah, I mean, at that point, it makes the Trinex fight a little faster. It guarantees you a 1-to-1 on Ganon. It's it's an extra 5 seconds to get that butter sword. It's probably worth it.
Yeah, and I missed the fast Trinex kill anyway, so I had to practice on that too.
But yeah, I mean, we were I was pretty impressed with your routing overall. I think the boots. When I was initially looking at the log, so Rick didn't look at the log, but I did before we started, and I was like, oh man, boots and Pyramid Fairy, well, we're never getting these. I completely neglected to look where the red crystals were and realized that A, you could get them as your first 2 crystals, and B, that boots were hard required anyway, so...
Yeah, they were 2 big keys on torches on this seat. Once I saw that, the first thing I looked was desert. I'm like, oh, desert's a crystal. Is it going to be a key? Yep, it's a key. Then I saw GT, I'm like, oh, well, I guess it was double required anyway. And then I was like, oh, there's a sword in there too, so may as well.
Yeah, no, it actually worked out very well like that. I think that was super smart. As long as you're comfortable doing, fighter sword, or I guess in this case it was master sword because of the sword in Ice Palace, but yeah, doing the cold stair fight.
Yeah.
When you did it.
Yeah, no, it was... yeah, that was when I was thinking I was going to use my blue crystal, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm getting a sword. And then I got that heart drop from the blooper. I'm like, or whatever those are called. I'm like, oh cool, I can just do fast. And then I got pretty lucky on my fire red shots too, so a few spins and it was easy. I was happy about the cold stair fight. I was happy about everything up until Helma, basically. Like,
yeah, no, your execution was super solid, other than the one minor mishap. But this mode is super hard, and like anyone can have momentary lapses like that. Like it's going to happen to even the best runners. So
yeah, that's just pod. The problem was I was like pretty just kind of doing my thing, confident, going through, doing the thing, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing low HP Helma, and I let it get in my head. That's all it takes sometimes.
Part of Mario having a little bit of an issue here in this room, realizing that his sparks was a little too close to the crystal switch, and he locked himself on the outside of the box.
Yeah, Part of Mario was decided to run this entire seed on 4 hearts.
Oh man. Did he just only grab chess game and that's it for hearts?
Yep. Oof. No, actually, no. He didn't even grab chess game. The only one he grabbed was the one in the back of pod.
There's one in the back of pod?
Yeah, in the dark basement.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even bother with that.
Yeah, it was kind of out of the way for what you needed in pod. And you, at the point, you were a little better about picking up extra heart pieces along the way to give you an extra boost there. So you already had 5 when you were in pod.
Yeah, I like picking up pieces of heart, especially early, so I can like either 1 have a nice refill in like GT or something, or 2 just to have more hearts if hearts are hard to come by, which and or armor. And both
which they both were this seed. Yeah, nice armor in the seed, by the way.
Would you like to go to Zelda's cell for a piece for armor? You'll get a heart along the way. How about Eastern Palace for that ether you don't need for Myra?
Right, exactly.
Oh, by the way, the flutes in GT. Fun.
You have a different definition of the word fun as I do.
I had fun. I mean, up until Helma, but we're still having fun even after Helma.
All it is at that point just calming yourself down and moving on to the next target.
Yeah, pretty much. I I honestly didn't tilt too bad. Like I'm going into this aware that I'm out of practice, so things like that are annoying when they happen, but I'm not gonna beat myself up too much about it. And 53 is probably about my average for collection rate because I'm bad
It's
at
pretty good.
forgetting what's in certain spots.
I don't know. That
of a
feels pretty
scale.
low to me. Like I'm usually like 60 on spoilers.
Fair. I don't know. I just probably helps when you don't need to go into like any of the 5 chest caves basically, or
Yeah, yeah. If you could basically skip the entirety of the mountain minus the bombos and Super Bunny.
Oh yeah, I never even did Paradox, did I? I was thinking of doing
Nope.
Paradox early for some safety and to grab that Bombos for early Ice Palace. But then I realized I didn't have mitts, so never mind.
Yeah, I mean,
With
even
the
then,
plan.
Paradox is what? There's a heart container and powder in there you could have picked up, but
Yeah. It was mostly for like you could also then go to Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave for those hearts and Bombos.
gotcha. Yeah.
So that I could grab the fire rod on the way over to Thieves Town and Skull Woods and make that a little bit more efficient. But with mitts where they were, you couldn't do that early. So I'm like, no, I'll just stick with the plan, grabbing the bow and just running down to Ice Palace after Thieves Town. Coming back for Skull Woods. I don't think there's a better way of doing that or a faster way of doing that.
I don't think so.
Like, you could theoretically do Ice Palace first, but you'd have to run over to K45.
Right. Yeah. I think the way you did it was probably the best way that you could.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how Relkin and Gem routed it, because I bet they routed it basically the same. Or close enough.
Alright, Power to Mario taking down Aga here, just as again fight. Shouldn't be too. I mean, he's on Oko.
On 4 hearts,
but
he's decided not to get another one.
But
Yeah,
I mean, it's Butter Sword Silver Scan is not too bad.
Just don't get hit.
Yeah, just don't get hit.
Yeah, just look at it. Easy.
I mean, he did grab the Cane of Burna, so he does have at least some protection
Yeah,
against the
that's
fire
true.
bats.
It's true, just pop it on while the bats are coming. Easy.
Yeah, because he
Fastest
grabs the
way to
half
dodge.
magic as well, so he doesn't really have to worry about overuse.
I mean, Ganon's not wrong, don't stand too close.
You got a little closer to that Trident than I thought he was going to.
Oh boy, playing with
Couple
fire.
extra hits there just for good measure.
It's fine.
Oh!
I saw that coming too.
Back attack.
Oh! I'm like delayed a little bit, so
Back attacked.
rough. That's right.
Like I said, give a lot of credit for Power to Mario for wanting to even go through this, knowing at this point where he is in this race.
Whew.
There we go. Got
I was
through it.
afraid
All
he was going to get back attacked there too.
Hopefully the Ganon jumps aren't as about as good as the last time. Looks like even better even. Or is it the same? Because you didn't actually hit phase 3. I forget.
Yeah, I think because he took the death, it's already on a different cycle.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. It's a pretty nice cycle still though, so bad positioning though, comparatively. That was a spooky bat that almost hit me at the end in phase 4 though.
Yeah, we almost thought that was gonna get you.
I did too.
There you go. Get
There
your
we go.
GGs. Power to
GGs.
Mario has finished off the seed.
Ooh, GG's Power to Mario.
And even some of the runners giving credit to Power to Mario for getting through this with only 4 hearts.
Apparently, Shady Force did Hera.
I just saw that in the race
boss.
room.
As we welcome in part of Mario coming in here, 4-heart champ.
GG. Good job, Freddy.
You too. Oh, I'm surprised you went through with 4 hearts on that. That was 4 hearts green mail is definitely not what I'd want to do.
Well, the very beginning when I was heading towards the eastern and then about face to castle, I forgot that hookshot was there, and that's why I was going there afterwards. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have to get ether medallion, so let's just go to castle. And the early route fell apart, and I had to make a bunch of changes. And I'm sure
thought that you just confused the map and compass chest in Hera and didn't think you needed the hook shot, but yeah, that makes sense too.
Yeah, I didn't even have it, so I had to do the long way. I'm like, I should just do it while I'm here. It sucks, but get it done.
Oh no. Oh, so you did the basement?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Oof.
And then I'm sure everybody got Pegasus boots much earlier, and this is kind of an instructive seed on when you don't get that stuff early. It compounds a lot more in spoiler.
Yeah, you could see the difference even here on the restream between how Freddy's Swamp Palace went versus you, who didn't have the boots for it at that point.
Yeah.
But I think because it's sort of like hindsight, right? You midway through the seed, I was looking through the log while I was just absent-mindedly moving around. Like, I could have done that, and you know, every other dungeon I did before Skull would have been faster. Just instincts.
At
some point, I just decided. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My original plan was to do swamp before. I'm like, let's do swamp and a pyramid fairy. Then I'm like, wait a second, there's boots and a sword and pyramid fairy. Why?
Yeah, I was like, because Rick said that. He's like, okay, Freddy's probably going to do swamp into Ice Palace. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And you rushed Ice. I was like, this is interesting. Oh, maybe he just wants a sword for Argus. And then we realized that both red crystals were Ice and Thieves. I'm like, okay, this makes a lot of sense now.
It makes all that stuff faster.
And then also the realization that you had to get the boots this season.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. Also the book, which I was definitely glad was in Agina's, because I was like, oh, I don't know if I didn't leave the book anywhere. Oh, it's in Agina. Easy. Okay, perfect. No problem.
Yeah. At some point, so I finished with 4 hearts, and I told myself, probably after Dungeon 2, I want to see how far I can push low percent on spoiler, because I know that in the tournament, when we get to bracket stage, it's going to be really important to be able to handle those situations. And obviously Thieves Town Exhibit A right there. Like, you mess up phase 2 and then it's really hard.
It's scary. Anything scary to lose the script.
Yeah, anything you want to say to Blind there?
I mean, it's fine. Just don't take cane damage when I want you to.
Yeah, no, it was... My Thieves Town went well. It was Helma that kind of sunk me. I was basically one sword hit, and I swiped, like, I don't know, a pixel or 2 away from hitting it, and then the fireball bounced and hit me.
Yeah, you had the unfortunate setup there. I think that you had 2 things coming at you at the same time, the tail and the fireball.
Yeah, I hate that position on the lower half when you're, like, especially the bottom left corner where, okay, you need to dodge the fireballs, but you have no choice but to stand there.
Yeah.
And maybe take a hit. I had to pop that blue potion in the middle of the fight. And then going in without 8 arrows, going in with 6 arrows, felt bad with Fighter Sword. The plan was always to go to Pod as the 5th dungeon in the route, and I ended up having to do it first just because of how I did things, and leaving Hookshot behind it made more sense to mirror and grab it then. But I'm sure Freddy had like Master Tempered Sword at that point.
I had Tempered at that point because I did a fairy into Pod. Yeah.
And he also had the boots so he could do the spin speed.
The spin speed. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
But yeah, I did after I got all of the Light World stuff, I grabbed the lamp on the way to Dark World and did Thieves Town, Chest Game, K45 and Stumpy, my 5 hearts. And then because there was a heart in Chest Game, and I had gathered a few pieces of heart in the Light World. And then ran straight over to Ice Palace after with Hylia on the way. Then did Pyramid Fairy Pod, Swamp into Desert, and then cleaned up Skullwoods and went to the mountain.
That's really great. Taking notes.
Yeah, this is like half like learning how to route seeds and half just practicing execution. Like
learning how to route seeds in 15 minutes. Also, like not like
yeah.
To me, this also feels like a practice what is your comfort level, because it's going to get challenged, like it was in this case.
Oh yeah.
Like this is one of those seeds where you ideally do it 5 heart green mail, and that is pretty much the absolute minimum I would ever want to do a seed.
Yeah. I think I had green mail the entire time. I don't think I ever picked up armor.
No,
armors were all awful.
It was not friendly at all in this seed.
It was dumb. I think one of them was Meyer.
No, one of them was in Zelda Cell, the other one was in Eastern Palace.
Zelda Cell. Oh yeah.
Big key chest of Eastern even.
Oh, big key.
Yeah, just the most awful. Like you're never like it's 2 minutes to get the dang thing.
It's not worth the time. Yeah.
Then I'm like, hearts. I was really scared of hearts going into Thieves Town because I'm like, I'm gonna have 3 heart Thieves Town and 4 heart Ice Palace. Doesn't seem great.
Yeah, I think it'd be worth the time if you had no swords, right? Like if you knew that your route was only going to give you a Master Sword, then maybe you do that like Eastern or Zelda Cell dive and make the time. But we had swords all along our route, so
yeah, swords weren't bad this seed. I went straight to Waterfall at the start after a bit of getting destroyed by arrows before the bush crab, but
yeah, I thought your opening route was pretty smart there, just going straight to Moon Pearl then Waterfall Cave to get that sword immediately before doing anything else.
What weapon did you take into Moldorm?
Golden Bee.
Oh, that's genius! Oh man,
golden Bee with bombs.
That's
is
right.
Like
yeah, that was
free.
Golden Bee bush crab, right? You get the bush crab bombs.
And the mini Hummels and the mini Moldorms were dropping bombs too.
Yeah, I was a big
everything
fan of that
dropped bombs
sword.
early game. Yeah.
Dang, Giga Brain, nice job.
Yeah,
what I love about these post-race conversations is the route comparisons here, like this.
Yeah, you know what I did with that Golden Bee? Well, let's get some pod money and
have it fly away to the weather vane.
Oh no, I hate when that happens.
So I was like, I had to get the money out of well at that point. I'm like, fine.
At least it was right there. Like, it was easy to pick up that 300.
Yeah, one thing we were remarking about with regards to you, part of Mario, is at least the seed provided you with the 300s in reasonable spots, because if this
money
was
no
a
issue.
money seed, those blue potions would have been out of the question.
Oh yeah.
I grabbed the 300 rupee. There was 300 rupees in Mini Moldorm, so I'm like, oh, well, there's no reason to keep the gold B at that point. We don't need to do Zora. And I think I got that 300, and I accidentally picked up a 20 out of Escape or something, back of Escape. And that was the only
single
I picked up the entire.
arrow.
I picked up the single arrow. Yeah, I know. I even wrote it down which chest the Samaria was in, and then forgot to check it before dropping down. I'm like, I don't remember. Then I grabbed the Samaria. I'm like, was there anything else? And I'll just grab. Oh yeah, the single arrow was here.
Well, Freddie, when you copy down the locations you're going to, do you strip out the checks that are quote unquote inconsequential, or do you copy the whole section of checks just in case?
I have a Google Sheet doc that has basically like everything important, and I just write down those locations.
Okay.
When I'm more in practice and used to reading spoilers, I do tend to do that as well, like strip out things that are not useful. Both ways I think are fine. I'm not sure which one's better. I think it just depends on how you
Whichever
think.
you're more comfortable with is really the best way to do it.
Yeah. Whatever gets you to understand where everything is the easiest and be able to route for them. Because usually that takes me about 5 minutes to get. I also add things like waterfall, refill, the medallions, the stun prize, the tree prizes, things like that. And then From there, I usually have about 10 minutes or so to then be like, okay, what do I actually need for everything? And start routing, just starting routing from the start. And be like, okay, I need this, okay, do this order. This probably makes the most sense. Wait. Oh no, okay, I can do this. This is fine. And usually I get to at least part way into Dark World, depending on the seed. Depending on how much thinking I have to do on the early game route. And then by the time I get into the seed and I'll have probably 80% of the items routed out, and then figure out the rest on the fly, hoping I don't forget things like the book, because there's usually one thing that I'm like, right, I need that. Where is that? Did I skip that?
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully, after the 15 minutes elapsed, you can still have that log up.
Yep. Yeah, I just have that with find.
That would be a nightmare if
yeah.
you couldn't, because that's usually how I run my dungeons when I do it. I just do the dungeons on the fly, basically. So.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'll write down the first couple when I get to them, but yeah, the end dungeons, like the Turtle Rocks, the GTs, I'm looking at as I'm traveling to them usually, or maybe a couple dungeons before, but I'll be like, okay, what's up? Usually okay, where's the big key of GT? How do I write out Turtle Rock? And is there any pieces of heart on top of GT or something like that? Usually things like that is what I'll do to in the middle of the seed.
Yeah, I don't think about the in dungeon routing until I'm approaching the dungeon. So
it can be distracting as much as helpful. So it's usually the traveling in between, which is why I usually get wrecked by the mountain brownie things. Dead rocks, that's the one.
The kill rocks.
Yeah.
Kill rocks, because they love to kill.
The murder rocks.
They love to get in the way as well.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Which gets you killed. Both in the race and in the game.
I think it's time to put a lid on this one, because we have another spoiler qualifier coming up here in just over 2 hours at 4 o'clock, which will begin spoiler review at 4 o'clock. Race will begin at 4:15. So yeah, GG's to both you, Freddie, and Power to Mario. Thank you for volunteering to be on the restream.
Yeah, thanks Gil, thanks Rick, and thanks Sawyer for crewing this up and sharing spoiler with everybody at SG.
Agreed, thank you.
So yeah, be sure to give the runners some love. Also, big thank you to Sawyer for doing the tracking. And stick around, because before we have the 8th qualifier for the spoiler log tournament part of Speedgaming Live, we have the other part of Speedgaming Live, or another part of Speedgaming Live, that is, the Mega Man 46 robots coming up next year on Speedgaming. So, Gil, I'll let you have the final word as I'm at the round. Rick, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Like I said, come back a little later this afternoon if you want to see some more spoiler log, but otherwise enjoy all the other wonderful content you can find on Speed Gaming over the course of the weekend, and enjoy the rest of your day.